As the title of this video suggests, people have sometimes asked me, will Porsche ever make a GT3 convertible or cabriolet? And my answer has always been, of course not, why would they? But in a way I'm wrong. There has been a Speedster model for the last 6 decades on and off, and in a lot of ways that is the GT3 cabriolet. Well, sort of. But first, a short history lesson with Dr. Murray. The Speedster models go all the way back to 1954 with the 356 Speedster, the 1957 356 Carrera Edition GT Speedster being the first production Porsche that could do over 200 kilometers an hour. The first 911 Speedster was a G model in 1988 with 2,100 built, and it featured the shorter windshield like the original 356. Current values are between $250,000 and $500,000 US. 4 years later, in 1992, the 964 generation got the Speedster treatment, which stripped out air conditioning, electric windows, even airbags for weight savings. Only 930 of these were built. Current value of these cars, $300,000 to $600,000 US. In 1995, the 993 generation Speedster was born. Can you guess how many of these they made? Well, it was a somewhat limited run because they only made 2. A green one and this silver one owned by Jerry Seinfeld. Current value guesstimate is between $4 to $5 million, but let's face it, he could ask whatever he wants and I'm sure he'd get it. They did not bother making the 996 Speedster, so the next generation was the 997.2 in 2010, with only 365 made. Strangely, these remain the most affordable Speedsters at between $250,000 and $400,000 US. Which takes us to the current 991 model, which we're driving today, which was produced from 2019 and for which only 1,948 have been produced. 1948, the first year of Porsche production cars. The current values are between $300,000 and $600,000 US. These low production numbers are the first reason the Speedster is not really a GT3 because so few are made, they're really as rare as unicorn testicles and just as hard to lay your hands on. The other difference is that the modern Speedsters, while not only rare, are also only made at the very end of a generation, and we do not expect to see the 992 generation Speedster until 2027. Which brings us back to the Speedster we're driving today. It has the naturally aspirated 4-litre flat 6 pumping out 510 horsepower, which for the 991 generation actually put it squarely between the GT3 and the GT3 RS engine output. The mix of these two models does not stop there, however. Some of the bodywork is a mix of GT3 and GT3 RS lightweight panels, with a cabriolet upper body and a few Speedster only parts like the shorter windshield, the rear humps, and of course the low profile Speedster roof. Due to the rarity of the Speedster models, they are considered investment only and as such get locked in climate controlled garages and wiped occasionally with a moist diaper cloth. But not this one. If you take a closer look, you'll see it has over 3,000 miles on it already. My friend Joe that owns this car actually drives it, and I can completely understand why. It's all the joy of the GT3 models, but with the added sensory bombardment of top-down driving. To me, it is sort of peak modern 911 experience. I mean, great for experiencing that flat 4-litre in all its glory, but terrible for trying to capture YouTube video sound.
Okay, so for some people, myself included...
Yes, the wind is mostly winning the fight for my microphone, which is why I'm sparing you that audio torture with a voiceover in this video. However, here is a snippet of Shouting Nick.
So the sound is one thing, the power's another thing, the gears are a whole other thing again. The gear lever is just one little notch, donk, donk. Just adds another dimension to driving this car.
The Speedster is just what you would expect. The same amazing engine and delightful gearbox of the GT3, but with the roof down, so the audio stimulation is turned all the way up to 11, a bit like live music and standing all the way up the front. So speaking of that roof, this is no standard cabriolet. First step in putting it down is to park and pull up the top release button here. Then you wait for a moment as it opens all the windows, and then suddenly it sends out the bat signal. Then there's a bit of manual labour. Luckily, I did a workout one time in 1997, so I'm buff and ready. Yes, the roof has to be lowered manually, and then the rear clam also has to be closed manually. Simple when you know how. By the way, for those of you who are wondering what these missile hatches are used for, that's where the rollover bars pop out. Also, under the clam, instead of the rear seats, you get these little cubby holes, which are pretty much useless because the seats don't fold forward, so you don't have any access anyway. However, this isn't just a run-of-the-mill common old Speedster. It has a bunch of custom touches to set it aside from the hundreds of other Speedsters you see around littering the roads. To start with, this colour, which I'm told is PTS Swartz Blue. With the sun reflecting on it, it looks very navy to me. Anyway, it's beautiful and Smudge approves. The rims are also custom with carbon fibre barrels. No unsprung weight here. This is just next level customization. Around to the interior, custom matching door straps with the cognac leather, and the carbon bucket seats have Swartz black piping. Take that, deviated stitching. Two-tone center console and Carrera GT gear knob. It's just simply a beautiful configuration in here. As impressive as this car is, does it come close to being as cool as a beat up 993 cabriolet that smells like wet dog? I think we all know the answer to that. Anyway, thank you Joe for trusting me with your amazing Speedster. Not just an incredible car to drive, but something special within the 0.01% of special Porsche cars. And I wanted to thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye then.